once again. We know this is what we're meant to do. So we wake up, put our feet on the floor, go and conquer the day like a warrior, like warriors. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. No need to panic anymore. We got lots of support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Sondra, and I am the host of the Coffee Shop Show. I am here with the amazing Peter, the head of Explore ProTech, and we talk about all things business, how to start your business, how to keep your business going, and everything in between. We have been talking about marketing for the last couple of weeks, so we're going to continue that talk today. And today we're going to talk about lead magnets. So lead magnets sometimes get a bad rap, but they're not bad if they're used appropriately and efficiently, and not just something you throw out because you want to throw out. So we're going to talk about like what makes a good lead magnet and so on and so forth. So a lot of people are like, a lead magnet is a freebie. Yes, but no. It's a freebie that can lead into a paid offer. So it really is about how you set it up, how you structure it, how you align it. So a lot of people just, oh, I got this, I created this pretty Canva. Well, I don't know, people use Canva anymore, but whatever you generate your prettiness with. And that's it. But some things you want to keep in mind for a good lead magnet is it has to be specific to your audience. Again, we've talked about this in many different ways. So go back and watch the shows. But it has to be focused on something that you're going to solve for your audience. So you need to know what your audience problems are if you're going to help them solve a problem. It has to be something that's a quick win. People love fast results. In this day and age, everything's fast. So if they have to do a 100 question quiz, you're going to lose people. So keep it simple, keep it rewarding, and keep it relevant. Like, don't talk about how to sell something if you're coaching on goals. Like, it has to be relevant to what you're going to offer them after you do the free market, after you do the lead magnet. So it's going to lead into something that you already do. It's a first step towards getting to know somebody getting to know you. So if you're talking about something that's totally irrelevant of your business, then people are going to be like, okay, that was a great lead magnet, but you don't even help with that problem, or you don't help with the solutions of this. So you definitely want to keep it relevant. Think about what people are Googling that are your ideal audience. What are they looking for a quick answer to? We have ChatGPT, we have AI, we have all these things that can give people quick answers. So why are they going to click on your link and do your freebie? What's going to appeal to them? What's going to make you stand out? And it doesn't have to be a lot of bells and whistles. It just has to be something relevant that's going to solve a problem and give them a quick win. I'm very big on wins. So definitely that. And then after you do the lead magnet, make sure you do nurturing and follow up and so on and so forth. So maybe they do your lead magnet, but they don't buy the offer you have at the end or the offer you in your next email. That doesn't mean you stop talking to them because, oh, they did my freebie and that's all they wanted and they're walking away. Could be true, but you don't know. It might be that you email them. I'm not big on emailing every week, but some people email every week, every day. Figure out what the cadence is for you that you can do and what your audience wants. But keep nurturing them. I've had people come back 6 months, a year and a half, and they're like, oh yeah, I've been getting your emails or I've been seeing you on social media or whatever. Um, you put the lead magnet puts you in their mind. That might just not be the right time for them to buy. So definitely look at not because everybody that's taking the lead magnet is signing up to be a client that it's a bad lead magnet. It might be just it's that door that opens up to you that you're trying to get them to sign up for. Now, if people aren't clicking or, you never saw an item, then you might want to relook your lead magnet, but you want to make sure that you don't just write it off because people aren't buying immediately. There's lots of different other issues with that, so you just want to make sure you're doing that. And again, definitely help nurture afterwards. Money is in the follow-up. That is a very true statement. I firmly believe in that. So LE Magnet is a great way to build your list so you can build people to follow up with versus, I don't know, the 5,000 other different ways you can meet people. Peter, come on in.
Yeah, I think a lead magnet, basically a lead magnet is an opportunity to be very, how would you put it, slick in how you're approaching your target audience. Um, there's multiple ways of approaching it, but I think understanding that if you're giving away something that didn't cost you anything, then you've got to be smart enough to come up with something that you can give away that people actually want. I know there's been like all spaces have been inundated with like get your free electronic business card or get your lots of spaces do those types of things. But in order to create something that's free, that is attractive enough for people to give you their information that you need to protect, um, you need to give them what they want. If I look back at the beginning of Explore ProTech, we were starting out in the networking space and we wanted to attract people to network, come to networking events. And one of our lead magnets was like a character test where you got to take the test and figure out what kind of networker are you? Are you, are you like an elite networker? Are you the Zoom sniper? And then we had different categories that people fell into that really lined up with their characters, and they did this small, quick test. It wasn't very long, and people were getting excited about, oh, I did it, and I'm a Zoom sniper, or oh, I did it, and I fall in this category. And it gave them the opportunity to, when they were networking, then share with each other what the results of their test was. So it was a really cleverly designed lead magnet because we still refer to each other years later as Linda Dent, the Zoom sniper, or you know, and it lasted. Um, so I think it's an opportunity to play real smart with what you're doing. You do not, however, want to just come up with something that's free that somebody gets. Like, oh, I run this type of business, but when you do, you get a free snow cone. What's the snow cone got to do with your business, and what's it got to do with, or you give them a free shake up Christmas globe, or which has got absolutely nothing to do with your business. There's got to be this consistent follow through of everything lines up. They're getting what they want, and because they're getting what they want, you get what you need, and what you need is their details. However, you need the details of the people that are your target audience. Because you can get thousands of people's details. That's great. But if they're not your audience and they're not your potential customers, their details are not going to help you at all. So I think that's the thought process in building your lead magnet. You can build lead magnets deluxe and give away free stuff and end up with absolutely nothing if you don't build it smart. So there it is. It's an opportunity to be smart about what you're giving it away, how you're giving it away, what they feel when they get it. Do they need it? Is it something that they can show off to others? Oh, look, I did this test, and as a networker, I fall under this category of networker, and people will be like, "Oh, I see that. Yes, that lines up with you perfectly." Um, so be smart about it. Understand your business, understand your customers, then build your lead magnet. But don't end up with thousands of people's details and then you like don't know what to do with it. They're not your potential audience. They're not your target market. You're not going to make any money in that space, or give them what they don't need. It's like going into um, a toy shop and leaving with a garden rake. It doesn't make any sense. Like I went in to buy a toy and I've left with a gardening tool. I just don't understand. Um, don't leave people confused.
Yeah, for sure. You don't want to confuse people. And you also, um, I like that you said, want them to remember you or remember that, or go around and be like, hey, I got this cool thing. Like, you should try it, or this is the results I got from it. For sure. It creates FOMO, fear of missing out. Some people are like, oh, wait a minute, I don't miss that on out. Like, let me go do it too, or where's that link or something. Um, and also when you're doing your lead magnet, knowing your audience is important, but also knowing how your audience takes in information. So if you have an audience that prefers to watch a video, then your lead magnet should have some part of a video or some part of visuals. If you have somebody that's really techie and they just want to read it, bullet point and da da da, like take in how people learn into consideration, because that's important. If you have, a 2-page document that somebody wants to read, and you got Mr. Peter, Mr. Peter's like, I do not want to read 2 pages. Like, if you have people that like to take quizzes, then you do quizzes. If you have people that want to read stuff, you do read stuff, or maybe they watch a video. But take in the learning style as part of your lead magnet for your audience, because again, you can hit them, you can have the best lead magnet and it's in the wrong type of format. Like, just really that simple. It can be that simple as, oh, I gave a quiz and people would rather read, or I gave a video and I'm not a video person. Like, I don't want to watch a 45-minute video or whatever, you know, um, or, you gave a 3-question quiz and it didn't quite, the results didn't match them because it was too short. Maybe you needed it to be 5 or 6. You needed to be a tad bit longer. So you give the results that either surprise them or that they expect. Because if it's like far, like you said, if it's far off and you're just like, you do a quiz and it's like, you're, I don't know, you're an extrovert who loves to be in front of the audience and you are the flower and the wallflower in the back of the room, you're going to be like, well, what the heck? This quiz was not even, this was a bunch of hooey. Because that does not mean any shape or form. So you want to make sure the answers match and correlate. And then some people will be surprised by their answers, and that's fine. But if it's just way off, like Peter said, if you go into a store and it's, you buy a rake when you're going to get a toy, there's going to be like, okay, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. Why would I work with them? They're way off base. Yeah, I'm not going to work with them. Why would I work with them? They don't know what they're talking about, or they don't, or these results are too generic. That's another way. If you're just too generic, okay, you're an extrovert. Okay, I already knew I was an extrovert. Why did I just take a quiz or why did I just do this to learn I'm an extrovert? I know I'm an extrovert. So, being very detailed in your results, not to the point where you're giving away all your goodies, but enough to they'll be like, oh, they know what they're talking about. I want to learn more about how or what they do. Um, you know, this is intriguing. I want to learn more about myself or this problem or how they help me solve this problem, because people are going to be like, I can learn that at, I don't know, Google or ChatGPT. So why would I pay you to do that? So make them intrigued enough to they want to pay. I mean, that's the point of a lead magnet, is to get people into your paid offers. It's a stepping stone. So come on in, Peter.
Yeah, I think a lot of entrepreneurs make this mistake. Um, they think they're smart. And are they smart? Yes, they are. But when you build a business and you nurture it and you water it and it becomes your secret garden and it is like holy ground, and you create something that you think is clever, it might not necessarily be that your audience thinks it's clever. So when you're building a lead magnet, you're not building it for yourself. It may seem great to you, but you have to figure out, is it going to be great for them? So the smartest thing you can do is build something that is clever and slick and attractive, that definitely leads to more curiosity. But just because it tweaks those things for you doesn't mean it hits the mark for everybody else. So you have to figure out, and this is where the smartness comes in, you have to figure out, what do they actually want? What would intrigue them? Or what do they actually need? What can I give them that would make either their day or their week just a little bit easier? What do they require? What can I give them that they can be like, oh my goodness me, I wish I had this last week. Now that I've got it, I can use it to do this. So be smart about it. But don't think you're too clever and build it for yourself. And that really does not work. We're going to go right back to the drawing board, but you have to know your target audience. You're building it for them, not for yourself. I know some people build things that they're so proud of that, and should you be proud of it? Yes. Should you be making decisions based on what you necessarily think is great? Not usually. Not usually. You got to take that step back and go, this is clever because it works for them. And that's what you're building because you're trying to attract them. You're trying to attract people from the outside in. You're trying to draw them in like a magnet. It's in the title, lead magnet, a magnet that gets leads. And it doesn't help that you create something that, oh, that's nice. You've given them something they don't necessarily need it. It's a nice little thing, but doesn't really do anything for them. It doesn't really achieve anything for them. It doesn't pique their interest. It's just nice. Are you going to get the leads you require? Well, you might get a lot of people that step into that space just to get it, but that's as far as it goes. They've got it, the relationship ends. They've taken your free lead magnet, and you never hear from them again. You haven't piqued their interest. You haven't given them what they really need. It's just nice. They wanted it. Now they got it. That's it. And I think too many people have actually fallen into that kind of mediocre space where they're like, oh, but I've got lead magnets. And they just farm out lead magnets, lead magnets, lead magnets, lead magnets. And they end up with thousands of people contact details, but not quite hitting the mark on doing their research on how they actually need to be building it. It'll be different for different audiences. It'll be different for different businesses. So, pay attention to it and try and be clever on your customers' behalf. Build what's clever for them, not what's clever for you. You can be the architect, but you don't own the building.
Right. And ask your target audience, what is your problem? Or not what is your problem, but what is a problem that you want solved? Or what is something, and you can even say, hey, what problem has been solved and how was it solved? You can take away from that. You can take away from that. You can look at that and be like, oh, okay, this is how this person's problem got solved. Can I do something similar? Because if this person has this problem, then surely hundreds and thousands of other people do. Or you can be like, that doesn't align with me. That's not the problem I want to tackle. And if it's a problem that your business does not solve, then don't go down that lane. Like we're saying, you want to make sure that aligns with your business. But there's no shame in asking your target audience, like, hey, what do you want help with? what type of learning style do you have? Like ask these questions because when you get that target audience and you're talking to them on a regular basis, those questions aren't out of the blue. They're not just random questions. They're people that you're talking to. You can ask your warm audience and your current clients and past clients those questions so that when you're putting your lead magnet out to the cold market, you're going to hit your target audience way better because you've talked to your current, target audience. So it doesn't seem like you're way out there in your lead magnet. And, people want those wins, but they also don't want that thing, they download and they never look at it again. Like you got to give them something that they're going to use. I had to clean up my computer for memory purposes, and I had all those, download my PDF, take this quiz, da da da. And I honestly haven't looked at them since they were downloaded 4 years ago. So a lot of people do take lead magnets just to get free things. That's true. That's the nature of it. So you definitely want to, if you're going to do that, if you're going to give like a PDF or something, you just want to make sure it's memorable and that's where the after comes in. If they don't buy it right away and they get the freebie, you can go back and go, hey, did you review this? What did you like about this? Da, 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 da. So again, that's that nurture and follow up of the freebie is that you care that they got your freebie. It's not just, oh, I got their email and their name and go along. You didn't buy, so bye. No, again, you're gonna have a lot of people that aren't gonna respond and stuff. And again, they're not your audience. They were just here to get your freebie. So don't focus on that. Focus on the people that are responding. I think one of mine was about brain dumping and stuff. And then I did tips of the week and stuff like that. And I'd ask for a response. Does this resonate with you? Is it, have you put anything into play? Has it helped you or has it not helped you? Ask those questions because that shows one that you really care about the audience that you just give the lead magnet to. You're not just, again, it's not a numbers game. You're genuinely caring about the people that are taking the time to do whatever you wanted them to do to get the lead magnet. And that's just that nurture and follow up. And the purpose of the lead magnet is to get leads, but you have to do something with those leads. I mean, like he said, it's a magnet for leads. It's not a magnet for you to have a list to go, oh, I have a list of 1,000 names. Okay, how many sales have you had? Or how many people are still rocking with you? Or have you talked to them in 6 months? 1,000 names is 1,000 names. 1,000 names is 1,000 names. You can go out and buy 1,000. Shoot, you can go out and buy a list of 1,000 names. It's not going to get you anywhere unless you're doing something with it. It's your right audience and so on and so forth. Come on in, Peter.
Yeah, I think if we take a look at big business and how they do business, and there are spaces that are designed to just pump out mass amounts of lead magnets and get mass amount of responses to then only afterwards sift through those details and then figure out which of those people are actually the target audience and who are we going to target. And they will then bombard everybody with marketing from that list. A whole load of people will be like, oh, count me out, just block me from this thing. I'm not interested. Their details are then put onto what's called a cold list. It'll be a list of names of people that are just cold. It's a cold lead. And they end up with the lists and lists and lists and lists of people that are just cold leads. But for them, it's a numbers game because as big as the list is of cold leads, there is a list of warm leads and they will push and they will do business. We as entrepreneurs don't have access to that kind of, like, there's a department for this and a department for that, and everybody's doing their thing and everybody's just pushing all the time. We have this many fingers. We're entrepreneurs. We're on our own. Some of us are maybe a company of maybe 5. Maybe some of us are a space of 1 or a space of 3. And we just don't have access to that. So everybody's got to play their role quite meticulously and very carefully. We have to be wise with our time. So don't create cold lists. Start off being very specific, because the more specific you are, the more time you're saving yourself later. You don't want to have to go through lists and lists and lists of people and bombard an entire market with just marketing because they took your lead magnet, or they gave you their information. Next thing you know, there's all this cold calling happening, and then please remove me from your space. I'm not interested in your product. I don't have time for that. I really do not have time for that. I cannot imagine myself sitting somewhere with a phone and just phoning people left, right, and center saying, would you please buy my stuff? Oh, okay, sorry, you were on the list. Okay, cross off the list. Not that one. Oh, not that one. Oh, not that one. I just don't have the time for it. So I think the more specific you are, the more time it's going to save you, in the long run. And you will only realize that in the long run. You won't realize that in the beginning. In the beginning, you think, oh my goodness me, I'm going to do so much business because I've got these loads and loads and loads and loads of lists of people that did my lead magnet. Yeah, but you weren't clever enough to be very specific. And you've just got a list of random people that just wanted your freebie. That's it, so save yourself the time. And don't get caught out where you go through all this workload, you work yourself to the bone, and out of 1,000 people, 2 people are like, that sounds interesting. Maybe give me a call back like next month, because I don't have finances right now. Well, for cold calling 1,000 people, that's a terrible, terrible outcome. You want to be able to control the outcome, and you control the outcome by being very specific in the very beginning. So can you give away nice things? Yeah, I can give away nice things all the time. Can we create hundreds of lead magnets with just something that people might find slightly intriguing, but like, oh, okay, whatever. I've never seen that before. I'm curious. Click on it. Okay, cool. Yeah, not what I thought it was. Whatever. No, we have to put our noggins on. We have to actually pull up our socks. We actually have to do our homework. We have to investigate, who are we trying to talk to? What problem are we trying to solve for them? Why do we even want to speak to these people? Or why do these people even want to speak to us? What is it about us that why would they need to speak to me? Because if they don't need to speak to me, then they're not my target audience. So, and this is where the rubber hits the road. We do the hard work in the very beginning, and it pays off later. Not we just do a lot of hard work and then nothing comes from it. So, if you've done those things over and over, and you've done lead magnets and it just hasn't worked for you, maybe go back to the drawing board and take a look at why. Ask the relevant questions. Why didn't it work for me? Did it speak to my target audience, or did it just speak to me? I thought it was great. Because what I think doesn't count. What they think counts. And we've gone over that. We've gone over that before. So if you're out there and you have lead magnets, I think that you need to ask the relevant questions. Why would they want it? What does it do for them? Does it intrigue them? Will it bring them back? Does it line up with what I do? Do they need what I provide? It doesn't help that I give them a lead magnet that they need. And for heaven's sake, please don't give people a lead magnet that actually does the very thing that you're trying to sell. You know how many times I've seen that? They take the lead magnet, they get what they need, and then you go, oh, I'm selling this. And they're like, but I don't need that because I got that from the lead magnet. I think this is where people need to actually pull up their socks a little bit, and there's an art to it. You might want to pick the brains of the people around you and go, like, what is it about my space that people need? What do you think would be something good to give away? What do you think is giving away too much? Because there is such a thing as giving away too much. Because nothing is free. Even if you're giving away a freebie is not free. You have to build it. You have to put time into it. Time is money. Nothing's free. Maybe you had your VA build it. Your VA is not free. Maybe Somerville built it, like I've got my Somerville. Maybe Somerville built it for me. That's not free.
Right.
That's not free.
Right. It's not free. Um, I like what you said about, it's not, it is a numbers game, but it isn't a numbers game because if you get 1,000 signups for something and it's just you, yourself, and you're not going to manage 1,000 signups. Like automation, unless you build a very built out automation CRM that's going to help run 1,000 names through your system. So think about that. Like it's not about thousands and thousands of people signing up for the lead magnet, because if you can't nurture and handle 1,000 signups, Google is free. I know people that do Google Drives and stuff like that, but it gets clunky and people are just like, I don't want to copy a Google Drive, da 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 da. Like with the lead magnet, it needs to be in a format that people can easily consume, do, or use, or however you're going to do it, and that you can easily follow up, automate, nurture. All that has to work seamlessly. So, like we said, if you have 1,000 lead magnets out there and you have a team of 100 people, that's great. But most of us are small entrepreneurs, so we might have one or two if we're doing really well, 4 or 5. Um, and yes, there's tons and tons of systems with tons and tons of automation. But you, like you said, you have to, time is money, money is time. So you have to take the time to build that out and I've done beta testing for people. Um, you know, things get clunky, things work one time and don't work 2 months later because some system updated somewhere. So a lead magnet, yes, it's a freebie to the consumer, but it is not a freebie for you. It's not. Like you're putting time and effort into it. You have to do the follow-up, you have to do the nurturing, you have to build out the automation if you're using automation or however you want to do that, for sure. So think that through, because if you maybe use a system where I don't know, there's a limit on how many people can be in your CRM, or it starts charging after the one I use, it starts charging after, like you get so many emails free and then you pay by the email afterwards. So if you're building out a 10 email series and 100 people sign, that's 1,000 emails. I'm going to be paying extra because I don't usually do 1,000 emails. Yeah, it adds up. So is it worth it? It could be, but it could not be. So think that through, because even a lot of systems, yes, you have, and depending on your level in the system, maybe you can only do 100 emails, maybe you can only do 10 emails, and like the 11th person signs up and goes, I don't get anything. Oh, wait a minute, I have to upgrade my platform so they can get so keep all that in mind. Look at the system you have behind your lead magnet, the actual system, the manpower, the time, the money, everything that has to go into that. Because that is important. And like we said, a lot of people throw a million lead magnets out and they get nothing in return, or they go broke doing it. The lead magnet's not supposed to, it's an investment, but it's not supposed to be the thing that breaks your make or your business because you didn't think about all the extra stuff that has to come along with that. Oh yeah, I created a great PDF and people can sign up for it, but how's it delivered? What happens after? All those things. Standard operating process. So your SOP for your lead magnet is just as important as your lead magnet itself. So definitely have one. Because that accounts just as much for your time and money as the actual creating of the pretty lead magnet. So come on in, Peter.
I think lead magnets are like trends. I don't know about you, Sondra, but for me, the one that I've seen the most is free calendars.
Mhm.
Everybody's doing it. Like it's been done to death. Oh,
Yeah.
another calendar.
Calendar
So,
or a checklist. Here's a calendar and a checklist.
a checklist. So don't do that because everybody's doing it. You get these trends that flow through spaces, and then all of a sudden it's just inundated with free calendars and free checklists to the point where after 1 week of it being a trend, nobody wants it. You offer me a free calendar, and I'm like, please leave me alone. Like I'm really not interested in your calendar. I'm not interested in your checklist. Um, I think it's a good space to be very specific. You know, what is your target audience? What religion are they? What do they do? Do they take weekends off? Do they, like, well, you want to know about them so much that all that information put together will literally tell you what do they want and how do I make that line up with my business. Um, but yeah, so help me if I get another free calendar lead magnet. I can't do it. I'm just not interested. Um, that being said, where do we put our lead magnets?
That's a really good point. Um, where do you put your lead magnet? Definitely on your website. If you have a website, your lead magnet should be on your website, front and center. I know not everybody's great, loves the pop-ups. I'm not always fond of them either, but it's right there. Pop up. You can click it off. Don't make it anything that you can't get past it or whatever. So definitely on your website, on your social media, you can usually pin things to the top of your social media. So your lead magnet should be at that. LinkedIn, you can always pin stuff to the top of most social media platforms. So definitely on your social media. Um, when you're in your networking space, like Peter is, then it should be when you give out information, when you give out your little bio or your links or whatever, your freebie should be one of those. Um, Not go, oh, go to my website and get my freebie. Well, no, just give me the link to the freebie. Like, why do I have to make it easy and simple? When you're speaking, like on the show here or anywhere else that you're speaking, whether it's, a 2 second, I don't know, thing at a networking event or you're on a podcast or whatever, you need to be putting those links in those and then advertise it, not as in paid advertisement, which you can do, but write posts about it. Why should people be getting this lead magnet? Or ask somebody for a testimonial. I signed up for this lead magnet and this is what I got out of it, you know. Um, or you can say, hey, 50 people have done this and this is the results they've gotten. Use those numbers. Again, that SOP should include stats. So you can be like, hey, 50 people in the first 20 days signed up for this, Obviously it's hitting something. But it gives that curiosity of, oh, I should click on that. Like, why am I clicking on that? Or why is 50 people already clicked on that in 20 days or however many days that is? So basically everywhere. It should be everywhere. It is an introduction of you. It's kind of like your bio. It's in a way, it's a bio of your company. Like, this is what my company does. This is why I want you to have this. This is my gift to you from my company. Um, because I value your opinion, value your time, because you're asking people to give their information. You're asking people to give their time. And the time can be 5 minutes or it can be, however long your lead magnet is, but there's still time in that. People have to sign up, people have to do it, whether it's a quiz or a video or read a paragraph or whatever that is. So you can be like, I value your time, so I'm giving you this as an introduction to me, as an introduction to my business. So yeah, I would have it everywhere. Every chance you give to give it out. Because again, it's a really good introduction. It's, a really good way to showcase your business and what problems, solutions, everything that you help with. Um, of course, in the US, we have very strict rules about gathering information and how you use information. So make sure you check all the boxes and wherever you are in the country or international. Um, ours, you have to check a box saying that you're willing to get marketing materials and so on and so forth. So make sure you're doing everything legal. One, it just makes yourself look way better. And two, we do not want anybody breaking laws. So keep that in mind, especially if you're doing international. Like, does this conform? In the US, we have to conform to the US and then it carries over. But make sure you do know that because we don't need to be bring in Nicolene and be like, make sure you leave magnets because you're gathering information, you're getting somebody's information. So you have to make sure you do your due diligence to be careful and safe and legal with that for sure. But yeah, I would put it everywhere. That's kind of my opinion on that. Yeah, that's kind of where I would do that. What do you think, Peter?
No, I think that's perfect. I think that was answered to perfection. Um, Have you ever been into like a supermarket or a store and there is a young gentleman or a young lady standing in a nice outfit with a little tray of little goodies and like a taste tester? And you walk past and they're like, would you like a taste tester? And you're like, well, it's very difficult to pass up because it just looks like so itty bitty and it's not going to be satisfying because it's tiny. If you want to eat something, you really want to eat. Um, and you just can't help yourself. And you pick up one of those little toothpick sticks and you stick it in your mouth and you pull off whatever's on it and you're like, it actually tastes really good, but you just happen to be standing in the aisle where that product is right on the shelf. And you're like, oh my goodness me, I just tasted it and there they are right in front of me. Goodness me. It's a lead magnet.
Yep, we call them samples. So they're samples.
Oh,
And
it's a lead magnet.
yep,
Um, the other thing I wanted to mention was that a lead magnet might not be absolutely brilliant from the moment it's put up there. It's much the same as your marketing. You try something, it might not quite work and you have to tweak it. And then it might work a little better, and then you learn a little bit more, and then you tweak it just a little bit more, and then it changes, and then you measure its change and you figure out why, and then you tweak it a little bit more, and then all of a sudden it's doing what it's supposed to do. And I think a lead magnet is much the same. You don't just build it and magically it's the best lead magnet in the world. So if you are going to build out a lead magnet, understand that you need to do a little bit of testing. Maybe push out some surveys and ask some questions, get back that information, and then go, oh, good thing I didn't build that lead magnet because nobody wants it. Nobody's interested. Okay, that's a good lesson learned. Okay, well, what do they want? And you keep pushing that kind of narrative. And even once it's built, you don't just automatically go paid advertising. No, you test it in your space first and you see the results and once you're getting results, oh, this is working really well. Maybe it's actually worth investigating going paid advertising and seeing the difference between the space that I've tested it in and the paid advertising. But don't just go lead magnet, advertise. Oh, I wonder why it didn't work.
yeah,
Just
yeah, and like you said, testing it, highly probable that it won't work. The first version won't work. Like just to be honest, and that's part of entrepreneurship. Like if we go back to thinking when we started our business, you and I have been in business a while, but definitely I was recapping my business today to somebody and I was like, yeah, in the beginning I did this and that's not what I do anymore or whatever. Because yeah, it's trial and error. It is trial and error. And that's part of entrepreneurship. That's the bumps and the bruises and everything that comes with that. So definitely want to make sure that you try it on your warm market or your network or both before you jump into paid and all the things so that you're not wasting your time, energy, and money. So, but Mr. Peter, we are coming to the end of our time. Lead magnets, I think we've covered that very well. Um, lead magnets can be a great thing. You just have to structure it correctly and for the right people. So we want to do a shout out to Susan. She is our creator of the coverage of the show. She does our show notes. She puts mine and Peter's link to LinkedIn in the show notes. So you can click on that and book calls with us. We want to hear from you. We want to know how the show is helping you or not helping you. If we're missing the mark or you think something should be different, let us know. I mean, we don't know unless somebody tells us. We're like, we're doing great. We showed up every week. But if we're not helping the audience, then again, we want to help the audience just like that lead magnet. So definitely do that. So my name is Sondra. I'm the owner of Get It Done, and I help you with getting your goals reached by creating action plans, holding you accountable, and helping you with the resources so that you can get more done, not only in business, but also in life. And Mr. Peter, do you want to take us out?
awesome. I think I will do. It's like Pinky in the Brain. What are we doing today? We're taking over the world. We're going to end the show on exactly the same note that we ended off on every single time, which is with the saying from Nestene, which is, may all your wildest entrepreneurial dreams come true. Peace out.
See you guys next week.